Okay, welcome guys. We're in the studio today with Danielle. She's helping me out with a little bit of experimental shooting, just to help some guys out there. I get a lot of questions regarding the modes that I shoot in, and I'm always shooting in manual mode. I get a lot of questions regarding why don't I shoot in aperture priority. So I'm going to try and explain that to you a little bit now, about why I shoot in manual and why I don't shoot in aperture priority and the differences that I get between shooting the two. I'm not telling you how to shoot. If you're shooting in aperture priority and that's what you like to do, then kudos to you, keep going. But I'm just trying to show you the reasons why I shoot in manual and why I like to take control of the exposure. So what we've got to do is we've got a whiteboard, as you can see here, which is very contrasted because next to it we've got a blackboard, and I'm going to shoot Danielle on the black and on the whiteboard, and I'm going to shoot her in manual, so my settings for her, and then I'm going to do the same shoot with in aperture priority on this black background and then on the white background, and we're going to compare them together and see how they turn out. Hopefully there's a big enough discrepancy in the two that will show us the way. What I've got is I am shooting tethered to Lightroom, so I'm going to be able to show you exactly how the photographs turn out as we shoot. All right, so let's get going. I'm going to get Dan up against the blackboard first. I'm shooting at f4 with my 24-120. And let's just get a reading here. So that looks great. I'm on spot metering as well. So I'm metering off Dan's face and the skin tone of her face, and I'm getting to 1/25th of a second. So let's shoot that. Okay, it looks cool. Let's go to the white. Let's do the same thing. I'm not changing any of the exposure. Same thing, 1/25th of a second, spot metering. And we're going to shoot that. Okay. So let's go and have a look and see how those turned out. Okay. So there we've got Dan with a white background, 1/25th of a second. And then we've got Dan there at 1/25th of a second with a black background. Yes, you're always going to see a little bit of a change because of the backgrounds. Obviously the one is a little bit more reflective than the other, but the skin tones are pretty much the same. So what I would do then is, once I've got that setting correct, I can then shoot in this set as much as I want, flipping between the black and the white without having to keep on changing my exposure and getting the correct skin tone. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put Dan in the middle of this black and white board, and I'm going to shoot a half black, half white. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so we're going to shoot that. Same thing. I've kept my setting exactly the same. So let's have a shoot and see what that looks like. Okay. Okay, so there you've got quite a cool photo, I think, and all three of these photos for me are workable, and all with the same setting. All right, so that's pretty much how I shoot, and the reason why I shoot like that is because I don't want to keep on figuring out whether my photograph is exposed or the skin tones are exposed correctly or not. I just want to be able to shoot and make sure that everything is correct all the time. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to change my camera now to the aperture priority mode. So it's going to set its own shutter speed for the shots, and then we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so let's get onto the black. Yeah, there we go. Let's go into the black. So I'm going to just shoot this, and I'm going to just shoot all three of these now. So same spot metering on there, and we're going to go shoot that. Let's go to the black. Let's go to the white. Let's shoot that. Okay, And then let's do the middle one as well. And let's see if we can really confuse this camera. Okay. So let's see what that did for us. See if we can see any changes in this, in the 3 photos. So let's go to the black. So there you can see that's aperture priority. You can see that the camera is compensating for the black background. So Dan looks a little bit overexposed, especially on the right, sort of on our left side. If we go to the white background, there I think Dan is a little bit underexposed. So the skin then is not really as it was when we first shot. And then we're going to go to the confusion one where we shoot black and white. And maybe that's the best one out of the 3 that I've chosen. I think the skin in this one looks the best out of the 3. But if you look at them again, very overexposed, a little bit underexposed, and then pretty much that one's okay. And then let's look back at the manuals again. So there we got cool exposure, same cool exposure, and same cool exposure. So that's it, guys. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to chat to you about today. It's really about consistency of the exposure that I'm looking for. Once I've got my setup in this setting here, I don't want to continually being able to change my exposure and keep on checking it. I set it up once and it's correct for me for the whole of the shoot. You can shoot in aperture priority, but remember that you're going to have to use your aperture, your exposure compensation to brighten or lighten the exposure depending on what you are getting. And that entails always shooting a test shoot. Okay, it's too bright, lower the compensation a bit, and then moving to the white and then making it brighter again. So you're continually using backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It's the way that I shoot. It's because I move around so much on my shoots, getting different angles, shooting against different backdrops, that I do that. However, if I was shooting just against this white wall or just against a black wall or doing portraits, nothing is going to change. So aperture priority could possibly work, but I'm so used to working in manual, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I like to get my skin tones how I like them and then go on from there. So hope that made a whole lot of sense to you. Drop me a message in in the comments if you want to ask any questions. And yeah, shot guys, until next time.